We're all getting that government cheese.
Hey, man, I paid a lot of money into that government cheese. About time I get some.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was government cheese a real thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like, what is government cheese?
Welfare cheese or like military issue cheese to families and stuff. I don't know. I've heard about it, man. It coming in big blocks and stuff. And it's just like generic.
Government cheese. We're going to look at... Ugh.
Yeah, it's worse than Kraft, bro.
It's like,
you know what it looks like? It looks like fucking, what is it? Velveeta.
Yeah, but
it's
it's way more firm.
Yeah.
Welcome to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. I'm your host once again, and we are back to a normal semblance of normalcy here on the professional wrestling podcast that we call $2 Steak. Once again, I am joined by Big Mike.
Yep.
Tolbert.
Hey.
And Cookie.
It's your boy.
Your boy, Liberace Shagwell, a.k.a. the Cookmeister King. Folks, we're still in quarantine. We're still on lockdown. We have been on it for better than a month, right, guys? Has it been more than a month so far?
Yeah.
Just over.
Yeah, a little bit over.
And, like, I thought that I would be going stir crazy for the first, couple days of it. I'm like, I'm going to go crazy, but I have been able to spend money on wrestling memorabilia.
Yes, you have.
I've been able to, do projects around the house. It hasn't been too terribly bad for me. And today I actually got news that I got into graduate school, which is a big deal.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
I've done that a few times, Aaron. That's an exciting thing.
All right, so
I didn't even know you were applying to grad school.
I didn't even know you were pregnant. Yeah, I decided to go apply for grad school, make some changes around the house, make some changes within Aaron Varnum, make some changes here on the professional wrestling podcast that we have. A couple of things I want to touch on before our podcast officially begins. Guys, we had been, I have been looking at, first things first, I got an iPhone this week, and with an iPhone, you get some new apps that you don't really get otherwise, and one of them was Apple Podcasts, right?
What's that?
Apple Podcasts it's a way to play your podcast. Usually I use Spotify, but I just wanted to look at $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast on Apple Podcasts. And let me tell you, we have got a 5-star review that I would like to read. Give me 1 second. $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. Their reviews are as stated. God damn it. I had this pulled up a second ago.
This wasn't even good.
Get it together, dude. It's live, brother. It's live.
No, we're going to cut this
We're live, pal.
Can't redo it.
We're live, pal.
I don't know.
He doesn't have the comfort of his WCW neon light.
Here it is. All right. So our only 5-star review that we've gotten so far, right?
Hold on, wait. It's our only review, and it happens to be 5 stars.
No. We have 13 reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, wow.
Right?
And it's our only 5-star review?
No, all 13 of them are 5-star reviews.
Oh, awesome.
The only one that actually had a reasoning behind the 5-star review. I'm going to read it to you boys. It says, give these boys a listen, even if you don't give a $, and / about wrestling. We're going to assume that is give a fuck about wrestling. They bring it every week. Cookie, Mike, and Tolbert are awesome, but I need me more of Zane. Aaron keeps the boys in line and brings the energy. Love me some tough $2 Steak. Thank you. It looks like the user's name is Big Mike's dad. I'm assuming that's your father, Mike, that left us that review.
Thanks for supporting the podcast, Dad. He texts me occasionally about it and says that helps get him through his Tuesday afternoon workouts. So, thanks, Dad, for
giving us a 5-star rating. Yeah. Well, when you get a 5-star rating as good as that, and you look at it, and you're like, man, people listen. And then you look, and it's Big Mike's dad.
Hey, no, but you said we have 13 other reviews, right?
Yeah, we got 13. I think I was one of them. So maybe we have 11.
Aaron's really bad about, in case the listeners don't know, Aaron's really bad about actually following up on how well or if we are doing anything in terms of traction.
What? But I don't want
you don't want it to impact what you do and how you feel, I guess. I understand.
That's 100%.
But it would be somewhat interesting to, just find out, like, what the fuck's going on. Because, we say we have, like, dozens and dozens of followers, but apparently we do because we have 13 reviews. So we have more than a dozen.
13 5-star reviews.
There you go. Do we have any 1-stars?
No, I looked. I thought that we would have a 1-star review.
Oh, at least a couple by now.
Yeah, especially, I think that 1-star review would have come from Tolbert's mom, who did not like all the things that we were saying about Tolbert earlier in the podcast.
No, yeah, I didn't realize she was actually listening. So, thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. He didn't host a 420 episode last week.
She texted me, "Happy holidays, love you."
Wow, that's awesome.
Tolbert, what did you actually do for 420?
Well, it was kind of rainy outside. It was stormy. It was a shitty day, but made the best of it. Rolled a big old doober and smoked at 420. Of course, We're
losing Tolbert on Tolbert's
world. Watch Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke. 420 rituals, made some lunch, chilled, and, just watched movies, hung out. It was great.
There you go. Cookie, did you do anything special for your holiday?
Man, honestly, I was at 420. I was ready to light up a big old doob, and then I got a call that I should go look at a house because we're looking at houses for next year. So in the middle of smoking a doob, I had to go look at a house and a property with one of my friends.
Now, is this the first time you've ever looked at a house or property high?
Yes. While high, yes.
And did it make it funny? Did it make it better? Explain to me what emotions were going through your head during this.
Well, thank God that my friend knew the realtor. Not realtor, knew the
renter?
Knew the renter. And so it wasn't as awkward. He asked me a lot of questions. I was trying to maintain eye contact as much as possible.
Oh, that's the worst.
It was kind of hard, but other than that, it was cool. It was a cool experience. Luckily, it was nothing, no professional questions or what do you do for a living? Because your boy's unemployed right now.
When you're going through the eye contact process, you're almost counting it off in your head. You're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm doing too much eye contact at this point. Too much eye contact.
And then sometimes you do it out loud and you start counting out loud and you're like, what the hell is wrong with you? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry.
So, and also other things that went on this week, Big Mike got a bike. Tell us about this bike, Mike.
Oh my gosh.
Is this really that interesting? I literally just got the bike. So, I don't know. It's a fucking bike. What is this? What is this?
I'm talking. I'm trying.
I haven't even got to ride it yet. My tires are flat. I need Tolbert to walk his fucking bike pump down to my house.
I'm gonna bring it
Amanda
over.
said you've been tracking this thing for 3 weeks, man.
Dude, let me tell you. Cookie, you don't remember this, but hey, Tolbert and Aaron, do you remember when you used to have to order off a website and wait 2.5 weeks to get it?
Yeah. I
ordered this bike on Amazon 9 days ago, and I've been dying inside for the last week because you're so accustomed to 2-day shipping, and they're saying they're prioritizing shit, and I'm like, this is a priority to me. Why don't you care about me?
So Varnum, this is Mike's descent into hipsterism.
Yeah.
Because he got a fixed gear bike and he's into obscure wrestling.
But he's not going to be doing the fixed. I hope you're not doing fixed gear, right?
My plan is I need to remember how to ride a bike again. But no, I'm going to do single speed before I get into fixie. So
yeah. So I have a fixed gear single speed, and I've never once tried the fixed gear. I did try it on Tolbert's bike, and I got too scared and didn't want to do it.
See, my thing with the fixed gear is I want to be able to rip some wicked skids. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God! If I look out and I see you skidding down the street, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Mike, you do know
Tolbert's house and he's like.
Mike, people that usually ride fixed gear bikes are less than 200 pounds. And somebody that's about 270 you're gonna rip those tires.
Baby. I'm pushing 3. I know I am. It's ridiculous.
Shit, I'm 250 myself riding around on one, man.
The skids that you see on Tolbert are actually in his underwear, not on his.
Can I tell you? I'm walking down to our neighbor's house the other day, and somebody whips by me on a bike, and there's an ass crack hanging out, and I'm like, and he's wearing skinny jeans. I'm like, is that Tolbert? That was Tolbert.
Was it Tolbert?
I wait for him to turn around, and like before I can even guarantee it's Tolbert, I raise my arms like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Was it Tolbert? Okay, good. Good. Otherwise, you are going to have
from anywhere. Yeah,
have a firmly written post on Nextdoor about you. Big mongoloid looking dude yells "What the fuck" across our streets here, and he's just very angry. He looks like he could possibly be Polish. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about professional wrestling this week.
Segue.
Yeah,
bunch of Polacks, and
only Mike can say that.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. That's his word. That's his word.
Yeah, that's me.
So,
pierogi eating Polak.
This week, a very good professional wrestling tag team that we have followed year after year. They released a video teasing their next step in their evolution, where they're going to be going next and what they're going to be doing in professional wrestling. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, tag teams, they're a little bit underrated. Let's talk about underrated tag teams this week. And it doesn't have to be these tag teams are losing all the time. These tag teams are winning all the time. These are just interesting tag teams that maybe you haven't thought about in a while. And I'm really excited about talking about all 3 of these teams.
From Montreal to Memphis, parlez-vous français? Tell all the girls the Rougeau's on their way.
All right, for our... What is your segment called, Mike? Is it the Greenhorn? Is that what...
We've been doing this for a year.
Yeah, but what are we calling you? You're no longer a greenhorn.
Yeah, just Mike's angry segment, maybe. I don't know.
the Heat with Big Mike.
I like that.
We're now entering the Heat with Big Mike. Mike, you have got 2 teams that were a little bit underrated. Big Mike, you have got the fabulous Rougeau brothers against the Killer Bees.
All right, this is from WWF WrestleFest 1988. A little bit of history about WrestleFest 1988. It was in the Milwaukee County Stadium. It was in July. And this was actually, it wasn't a pay-per-view. It was a taped event that they would then show where?
It was like a syndicated event.
Okay, so this is one of the matches among many at the event. You said Fabulous Rougeau?
Yes.
Brothers and the Killer Bees. Oh, I know Aaron's excited to talk about this match, so I might let him do more of the talking. I was underwhelmed.
Really?
It's been about a year since I shit on one of your matches, Hardcore, and I didn't want to go back aggressively on this because to me it was a wrestling match. It was a generic kind of tag team thing. Great. I wouldn't say great. It was good tag team wrestling. Get 80s style. The one thing that I did really appreciate in this match, was that, and you don't see it nowadays, is a classic drop-down toe hold.
Okay.
There was
Jacques did that in the middle of the match. It looked good,
like
very crisp.
4 of them that were just really aggressive, fluid, smooth. They look good. I mean, all 4 of these guys, they look like wrestlers. I mean, they're big, but they're not like massive. They're jacked, but they're not like shredded. But just walking into this match without any other knowledge or understanding about this event or what's going on or all this sort of stuff, and I've never heard of either of these.
Right, I didn't think you would.
I just couldn't get into it too much because I didn't know who was the good guys, who's the bad guys. Right.
All right. So the Rougeau brothers were the heels in this matchup. Yeah. Jacques, the taller of the Rougeau brothers, went on to become the Mountie.
Okay, yeah. So
And-
I was going to get to that point. Aaron.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
you're stepping on my feet here. You're like Cookie at quarantine again. So I was sitting there thinking, like, all right, Killer Bees. I'm watching this. They got black trunks with gold stripes. They're probably the bad guys, and the Fabulous team is probably the good guys. I was completely wrong. And the problem is, it was good wrestling, but it didn't get the crowd into it. I don't know if it was the timing of the match or whatever it was, but it didn't even get the crowd into it until like 12 minutes into the 15-minute match to kind of give me the idea of, oh, I'm supposed to be cheering for the Killer team and the bad guys are the Fabulous team. I mean, they had this. It was, like I said, it was really good wrestling. Lots of good grapples, old-fashioned work, stuff you don't see anymore. Visually, it was nice. I just couldn't buy into anything that was going on.
Did you like the heel work that the Rougeaus kind of did?
Well, no, because I didn't really know it was heel work until retrospectively. So some of the stuff they did, it was funny, but I thought it was just like brothers helping each other out. So like at one point, the one gets really stretched and like worked real good. He tags in, and they get the ref to kind of back the Killer Bee guy off, and he's like stretching his brother out. And then like later on, they do the same thing, but he's like rubbing his brother's back, and like I just thought that might have been these two like loving French Canadian boys that just wanted to help each other. So it was good, but it wasn't. I don't know. I just didn't know what the fuck was going on really. So to me, it was just kind of like watching an NXT match I don't care about. Like it's just good wrestling, but there's no emotional attachment to it. And that was like kind of my big take home from it. Which, you know, and I was like reading some reviews and like looking up some stuff about these guys, and it's like the Rougeau brothers had just turned heel. The Killer Bees were like at the end of their saga being.
Yeah, this was actually their last match.
Yeah, so it kind of just had that blandness to it that probably would be equated to those timelines in their history. And then and as I'm reading this, I got really pissed, and I realized Aaron had a theme about what this was, but at WrestleFest 1988, he could have given me other matches that I would have had a lot more buy-in on because of the characters involved.
Okay.
We had WrestleFest 1988. There was a Jake the Snake Roberts match versus Ravishing Rick Rude.
A very good match.
That would have been awesome. There was a world title match of Macho Man Randy Savage as the champion against Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Okay.
Can you imagine how good that would have been?
Amazing.
Yeah, they would have been better than kind of what I got. So I appreciate the underutilized and underappreciated tag team wrestling for what it was, but I don't know, man. It was kind of just blasé.
So when I was looking up the Rougeaus, I got this idea because on Dark Side of the Ring this week, they were talking about Dino Bravo, and there was a small scene in Montreal of professional wrestling, and it's a very northern style of professional wrestling. It's pretty good, a little flashy, but I found this matchup and I really enjoyed it when I watched it. It's a simple matchup, a simple story, and I really liked the tag team work that the Rougeau brothers brought to it. I think that I was inspired. There's this really cool GIF, and I'll send it to you guys afterwards, and we might post it this week, but it's the Rougeau brothers against the Hart Foundation, which is an amazing matchup. And them getting, I think it was Jacques getting out of a hammerlock. And it was just a really fun way of doing it. But I don't think that the Rougeaus kind of got their due in professional wrestling. Raymond went on to he is now the current French announcer for WWE broadcasts.
That's where I recognize him.
That's why I remember that last.
So he's the one with the mustache, and Jacques is still in Canada and doing stuff. Like he'll take like working gigs here and there, but I just kind of dig them. They had kind of a reputation backstage that maybe they were not the favorites of anybody. There's a famous story about them getting into a fist fight with the British Bulldogs and just getting the shit kicked out of them backstage. Like the British Bulldogs, like I think the story goes something like Kurt Hennig pulled a prank and then blamed it on the Rougeaus, or he blamed it on the Bulldogs, and then the Rougeaus tried to pick a fight. And when they picked a fight, it was not what they wanted it to be. And I think Davey Boy Smith beat the shit out of
I got into a fight at football practice similar to that, but I didn't have the same ending the Rougeaus did. So did you remember those big giant pipe water troughs, Aaron?
Oh yeah, I remember the troughs.
That had like holes drilled through them.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And so like we were drinking at the water trough, and then ours had like a spigot at the end that was kind of like a hose spigot that would like just blast water. And so we go over there early in the day, and I get sprayed with water, and I'm like, "What the fuck, guys? Like, don't do that again." Da da da. Next water break, somebody does it again, and I turn around and I just look at two dudes, and the one guy just does this and just points at the other one. And I remember I picked this kid up. He was like this skinny little motherfucker. And I picked his ass up and I slammed his ass down on the ground. Like not quite a wrestling move, but I remember I just got on top of him and I started just like landing blows. And then it was a freshman football. So then the coach actually like ripped me off of him. And like, because there's only like, it's freshman football. There's like 21 of us, not even, probably less than that. But yeah, and then I found out that it was Robert and not Kenny, and I beat the shit out of Kenny.
You beat the shit out of the
person.
Yeah.
So
you missed your calling to become a pro wrestler.
yeah, that's right. So after that fight happened backstage, Jacques, a couple weeks later, got a roll full of quarters in his hand and punched Dynamite Kid in the mouth, and he lost 4 teeth. So maybe the Rougeau brothers are a little bit assholes. So.
Yeah, I mean,
the touch.
So like, but like you were saying, is like, I didn't even know they were actually French Canadian. I just assumed they were because it was like it's in Milwaukee. They're getting this like low rumble boo, but it wasn't like heat boo. It was like you're foreign, we're in America.
I would think in Montreal, pretty close to.
It is. But I just assumed that it was like. They're only booing them because they're from Canada, not because they're the heels. And that was kind of my whole issue with the entire thing. The wrestling was good. Maybe the character work wasn't where I wanted it to be or where I like it to be.
Yeah, the story time with Big Mike. All right, Mike, let's finish this up. Let's go to the, I think as Cookie would say this, you got a shit list this week?
Yeah, you got one.
All right, social media update.
Oh, wrong part.
Tolbert grabbed, I think, 1 follower on Instagram.
Hey-o!
Hey.
And you used, I think you used my quote on Aaron's picture to do it, right?
I did. I was going to do that anyway, and I read the group chat, and I'm like, oh, Mike, yeah, we're on the same wavelength. I mean, because look at it. You obviously can't think of any other caption. What would
Aaron got his plethora of Japanese magazines this week, and he was just sending us these awesome photos throughout. One of them are 3 Japanese wrestlers, one in a mask, wearing deep, long red loincloths, standing on the beach, pointing at the camera menacingly. And we basically said that's the crew, and that's how the crew hangs out when quarantine's over at the beach. But that was it. I mean, we had an awesome Instagram of Travis's art, as always, for the 420 episode. Got a couple likes. But yeah, overall, Tolbert did something on Instagram this week, so I appreciate that, Tolbert.
Not a lot, Tolbert.
Hey.
You produced minimum effort this week.
I've been gardening. I've been hanging bird feeders.
Yeah.
I've been painting.
Yeah.
I've been doing all kinds of projects around the house because I can't.
Why don't you post them on Instagram?
Tolbert, I've sent you so many pictures this week.
Yeah.
So a little bit of backstory. I went on. I found a website. We talked about it last week, I think. I got 10 old school Japanese wrestling magazines, and all Friday morning or Thursday morning, I was kind of like looking through them and kind of finding the coolest pictures I could find. It's just endless content for us and for our Instagram, and Tolbert just shit the bed.
Well, so Aaron
but also shout it out to I shout out to Violent Miracle that sent you the magazines.
Yeah.
And, they appreciated the shout out, and check that guy, whoever that is, out. He's
got cool shit, dude.
Awesome Instagram.
Yeah, he's got cool shit.
But Tolbert, don't let Aaron shit on you too much, because Aaron didn't tweet out a single one of those photos.
Yeah, he sent me a barrage of pictures.
Right. Wait a minute.
2 photos posted in the chat.
Is that my bag? No, I just supplement that.
We have been tag teaming Twitter for
Not my bag, baby.
It's not my bag, baby.
And Aaron, you've gone carte blanche on Twitter before, so I just assumed we're kind of railing that in. And Aaron had a tweet this week as well. And ultimately, we are recording this on a Friday afternoon before SmackDown even hits because none of us have anything else to do.
Right.
And so, the problem is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are our big Twitter traction night. So, like, you tweet and you hashtag a bunch of stuff with the, leech, as we do on the professional wrestling shows. And so we haven't had much ability or much traction to get anybody pissed off enough to unfollow us this week. Oh, wait.
Man, you almost got... Okay.
We did have a couple unfollows this week. But what I'm saying is we haven't had enough time to carefully curate Twitter content as either Tolbert. So I'm not going to shit on Tolbert too much. We had a little bit more. I went through and retweeted some of Travis's fine what's it called?
Sketchamania?
Sketchamania.
He's been killing that.
Yeah.
Dude, every day.
Travis crushes on Instagram. He doesn't tweet out as much of his stuff. But I went through and retweeted that.
Tolbert, did you see the dream? Like he's had Dusty Rhodes this week, and Cookie. He's actually had. My favorite. Yeah, he's had Bull Nakano this week. I know you got to see that.
It's my background on my phone right now.
Not Diane. Not a picture of you and your girlfriend, but a picture of Bull Nakano.
Yeah,
of course, man. Love Bull.
I will take this time, shout out Travis Thornton. Look him up on Instagram. Check out all the wild and crazy art that he's been posting because it's awesome. I think one of my favorites is just the simple like shopping cart.
Yeah.
With what's his name stuff.
New Jack stuff.
And then the Bull Nakano. I mean, he killed two birds with one stone there. The monster and the queen. So
yeah, Cookie's Queen, Bull Nakano.
Shout out to Travis. We'll try to do better. But hey, you know what? Our fans aren't doing shit either because they're not engaging with us at all. Besides likes, get on there, retweet, tweet at us, shit talk us, do something. Like us, rate us on your podcast apps. Give us a 1-star review so we can talk about that. Do something because again, we're just struggling for attention and we need.
Sounds like my entire childhood.
We need to feel
like a
something,
teenager
whether
right
it's
now.
hate or love at this point. Quarantine.
Speaking of hate.
Go ahead.
I see where you're going with this.
Speaking of hate, Mike, and this is the heat. I think you've got a shit list this week. I
do have a shit list this week, boys. You want me to jump right into it, huh?
Just do it, brother.
So, TRWC for life, the real wrestling community, apparently, allegedly, as they say themselves, they quote themselves as the very best in wrestling memes, discussion, and topics. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, TRWC Attitude, and the real wrestling community. Fuck these people. All right, they call themselves the real wrestling community, but the only thing following them is the smell of hot rotting trash. They want to talk about having great memes and wrestling content. Have they seen our Jeff Hart gifts?
The best wrestling content, and you know what? Jeff Hart himself this week stole my gift, and then he sent it out to Joey Janela and said, "I'm ready for a rematch, Joey. I'm ready
for it, Joey." Anyway, these people, they've had a Twitter since 2017, and they wouldn't even qualify for a Cookie paralyzing himself pile driver. That's less than 500. There's only so much room in the world for substandard wrestling content creators. So I'll take it onto my shoulders for the other 7,000 of us and tell these people to piss off and go play in traffic.
The real wrestling community, you've made Big Mike's
shit list.
All right, Tyrone Clark Gemini at Lunar Fox ZS. Hashtag Gamers Unite. Hashtag Gamers United. Hashtag Gamers Rise Up. Hashtag Retro Gaming. Hashtag Retro Unite. Hashtag some bunch of other stupid shit. You call yourself a Gemini, but you're the equivalent of the child whose parents only wanted one of the twins. Your parents likely hated you and threw you in a closet and forgot about you. You've apparently wandered out of that closet covered in shit and made it to the internet only to find out that everyone here hates you. So frig off, get back in that dark hole, and speedrun Mario for the 12th time because you have no friends.
How is he pretty good at it? Did you watch any of the speedruns?
No, I just assumed he was like a nerd.
Oh, okay. I get interested in sometimes those speedruns are a little interesting.
Fuck off, Aaron. Go get in the closet with this motherfucker.
Aaron, you about to make the shit list.
Jim and I, whatever.
Leader Fox ZS.
You've made Big Mike's
shit list.
Shit list.
All right, for the strong style, we have got the Miracle Violence Connection against Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham. Cookie.
This match was by far one of my favorites that I've watched in a long time.
Really?
It was a really good, like, throwback 80s, no, 90s. No, it's 90s style
Early
match.
90s. I think 92.
It was
93. Yeah.
Yes, 92. Hey, man, there's nothing pretty in this match, all right? This is about just, four ugly, very ferocious beasts going at it in the ring. Dr. Death is a former amateur wrestler and a standout in the Japan circuit. Barry Windham's a former horseman. Terry Gordy's phenomenal tag team wrestler and a member of the Freebirds. And you got, Dustin Rhodes, son of the American Dream. 20 plus years in the biz, man. He's a natural for a reason. Before watching this, I knew it was going to be a slobber knocker. To quote JR, probably no dives, just hard-hitting marathon wrestling. I mean, it's a 30-minute... Mike, what are you laughing at?
Sorry, I think I fucked that up, but go ahead.
What were you trying to do, Mike?
I'm trying to watch the video and the audio just like blasted in my face.
Thanks, Mike.
No problem, boys.
It's a marathon, man. I got a 30-minute match thanks to Aaron. But it was good. It was for the unified tag team titles. Now, is this like a WWE style unification, or it was like cross promotion? What type of unification?
NWA and WCW. This was kind of the early transition to that, and I think that they won it they won those titles earlier in a pay-per-view like a few weeks before.
From the same people, from Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham, or
no? It was a tournament style.
Oh, okay, I got you. Now, who was on commentary? Was that Terry Funk?
So it was Jim Ross and oh God, who was the other one? The other one was hold on, I'll find out for you.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get to the countdown anyway.
Cookie's top 4, number 1.
Dude, Dr. Death, bro. Dr. Death had one of the best body slams in the business. But before that, he reminds the crowd that he was a famous football athlete. What was it, from Nebraska or Oklahoma? No, Oklahoma. He's a football standout, man, and he got in that football stance and shoulder tackled Barry Windham across the ring. And Windham's 6'6". He's a big boy.
Can I make note that Dr. Death Steve Williams is the smallest guy in this matchup at 6'4"?
Yes.
Every single other person in this matchup is above 6'4".
Yeah. It was unreal, man. It was like there's probably a ton of weight in that ring. Those are some big boys. Me and Mike love big meaty men slapping meat, and that's what I got. So let's go to number 2.
Number 2.
Dude, Dr. Death had star written all over him. 6'4", monster, amateur wrestler. I hate Vince Russo, Aaron. I think I hate Vince Russo.
Why do you hate Vince Russo?
Damn it, Vince Russo. Why'd you have to create the Brawl for All? I mean, he had the pace, the strength, the agility for his time. It's a shame. Like, if you put him and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ring, I think you would have had something special, at least. And it's just a shame. After the Brawl for All, he wasn't the same, right? After that?
No, he hurt his knee, and then, like, he was just kind of done. His career, after he hurt his leg in the matchup and then got his ass kicked afterwards because he was fighting with a hurt leg,
Yeah.
And that it takes away some of your credibility.
Tore his hamstring.
He tore his hamstring in that, and he still fought. Like, what a
knocked the fuck out.
Hey, he did get knocked the fuck out.
There's nothing you can't come back from getting knocked out by Bart Gunn, and then Bart Gunn gets knocked out by Butterbean. So what did you just do? Like, what was the point of all that? Anyway,
you fucked a lot of people out of their careers.
Yes. All right, number 3.
Number 3.
Like a truck running over a pedestrian. Damn right, Jim Ross. That's how he described it. Like a truck running over a pedestrian. Bam Bam Gordy is a freaking semi-truck, and Dustin Rhodes is a feeble pedestrian. That lariat was snug, and that pile driver he hit was also nasty. Disgusting. And so that's not Terry Funk on the mic. Who is that, Aaron?
Oh, I was paying attention to your soliloquy. I didn't look. I'll find out in a second.
Well, listen, it sounded like Terry. It's a Southern boy, whoever it is, because he said you can pick up Dustin's head near the commentary table after that lariat from Bam Bam Gordy.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out right now.
All right, number
4.
Man, this was a different era. I mean, the youth in the ring and on commentary. Think about this. This match was 18 years old, and Dustin Rhodes won the match for his team with a bulldog, a freaking bulldog. Like, that's a very simple maneuver in the ring nowadays. It's a transition maneuver. But that pop that move got and the win for Dustin was huge, and man, did he sound like Dusty during that interview. Or what?
It was Arn Anderson.
Oh, it was Arn?
It was Arn.
Double A. Wow, I did not know that, man. But anyway, like I was saying, man, just the youth in the ring, and it's just a different time. I love this match so much just because it kept me entertained, and they went to, the top rope one time?
Yeah, and I think that this was during the era that you couldn't go off the top rope. You know, like it was illegal in WCW at the time. It was a weird thing. I wanted to touch on Terry Gordy. We haven't got to really talk about him that much on this show. I love Terry Gordy. I think it was this was the tail end of his working career. I think within the year or 2 years after this, he OD'd on an airplane on the way back from Japan, and they resuscitated him, but he had permanent brain damage from this.
Yeah.
And his just working career was kind of done after that.
And he became the executioner after this, had the mask on.
They had to put him under a hood and all that stuff. And it was just, it was just a sad story. I loved his work. He's a big dude he was kind of had what did they used to describe Husky Harris as? It was like a Camaro engine in a not a Challenger. I don't know what it is. Like a bulldozer body or something. It was he could go and he could run and he could do all this stuff. Steve Williams could do a lot of the same stuff that Terry Gordy could do. He could go. And these just two big guys, calling them the Miracle Violence Connection and just having them pair up.
Yeah.
It was great, man.
It was sick. It was sick to see them walk in with all that gold around. I was just like, okay, these two dudes are badasses, and I know it. But going into my honorable mentions, is it me or does Dustin Rhodes, who's literally the only person still wrestling to this day, he's 54?
He's old, and, we may be seeing the tail end of his career right now.
You watched him this Wednesday wrestle.
Yeah, and he looked good, but, he needs help, of course, or whatever. Does Dustin Rhodes still move the same, at his same pace? He hasn't lost a step, in my opinion.
No, and I think that he's improved.
He's leaner and I feel quicker in some ways.
Yeah, I agree.
There was a period where, Dustin kind of gained weight during the middle part of the Gold Dust years, but he's definitely gotten it back recently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said, I love this old school match. The flow of it was perfect. It was a marathon, yes, but it was well paced. Kept me glued to the TV. Bring old school wrestling back is all I have to say. Not one dive in this match, and they went to the top only once for that superplex. This is a 5-cookie match. 100%.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it, man.
That makes me very happy. I picked. We went from a match where one of our hosts just completely shat on it and just didn't
shit on it. I just shit on other things about it.
And then we go from that, and then it shows that my match picking skills are back. I think they're okay. If we got a 5-cookie match.
Yeah. Listen, it's 1-1 right now. You're 1-1, Aaron. So let's see what Tolbert has to say.
Tolbert was low key my favorite match of the night. So
I thought it was pretty good.
And for your high spot, Tolbert, sometimes it's tough to do a high spot with you. We always want to do something funny, something different. So we went for an underrated tag team with two amazing performers. They're two of my favorite wrestlers of all time, became a tag team called the Blue Bloods. And in this matchup, they are taking on Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko.
Yes, they are. And like usually you give me the match and I'm like, all right, it's going to be funny. It's going to be wacky. I see the matchup. I'm very familiar with all four of these wrestlers. This is about the time when I'm 10 years old in 1995. I'm watching wrestling every week. I remember the Blue Bloods. I remember them always getting a lot of heat, being these fancy guys. I didn't know much history about it though. And of course, Chris Benoit. Dean Malenko was a wrestler I was never a huge fan of, but he always caught my attention. He was always there.
Real.
Always.
I was the other way around. Like I liked Malenko a lot better than I liked Benoit.
I don't know. I love Benoit. I just loved his intensity. But Malenko was one of those wrestlers. He was always around, but he was underappreciated in my childhood. And, I'm glad you threw this match at me. But the Blue Bloods, Steven Regal, he's a British wrestler, right? British guy. He's huge. He's tall. He's a big boy. He comes from a fancy background, highfalutin background. And at the moment, at this era of time, he's looking for a tag team partner. He can't find one. He's looked all over. But a willing participant, Mr. Bobby Eaton, Mr. Beautiful Bobby Eaton, is eager and willing and ready to be his tag team partner.
Not from England.
Not from England, from Alabama.
Huntsville,
Alabama, right? He comes up sporting his, I guess you could call it a mullet, a spike top mullet, kind of. Everyone knows Beautiful Bobby Eaton, the style he rocked, straight from Alabama. Comes up chewing some gum. Joined the tag team. And Mean Gene has the best line. Is that gum or is that grits? He goes, no, it's gum.
It's gum.
And so Aaron sent me two links this week, and the one I'm describing is how the Blue Bloods came to be. So did you post that for the audience?
They will be seeing that because you can't really talk about this tag team. It's a lot of these tag teams for Mike, it was a pair of brothers, or a similar size guys, and then the Rougeaus, who were brothers. With Cookie, it was, kind of a little ragtag group. And for you, it's a redneck and a gentleman, and I kind of wanted to show how these two guys got together and became this underrated tag team.
And I'm glad you did, because it's a great story. So, Bobby Eaton wants to be his tag team partner. He declines. He's like, I don't have anything to do with you. Who are you? I've traveled 24 countries, get out of here. Right. So this leads to a matchup between the two. They have an awesome match. And the link you sent me, it was great. It was almost as good as my regular match. Hardcore match, man. And right in the middle of it, Steven Regal walks away. And you're like, what the hell? This was awesome. I really wanted to see this play out. Right before Bobby Eaton hits the Alabama Slam,
Alabama Jammer.
Alabama Jammer. Yeah. He walks out and says, hey, you almost just whipped my ass. I want you to be you're who I'm looking for. You can be my tag team partner. But we're going to have to clean up your act, buddy. We're going to have to – this isn't going to
fly. Fair Bobby is what happens.
So – yeah, so Sir Earl Robert Eaton comes to be after going through etiquette training and becoming knighted as well.
Yeah, I think they had somebody who kind of sounded like the Queen of England knighting Sir Earl Robert of Eaton. And it's just this really terrible thing. It's such a terrible, cheesy thing, but it's so entertaining. It's a whole shtick of My Fair Lady, where Lord Steven Regal is trying to teach him this boy from Alabama, and trying to teach him how to talk proper English. And he's like, well, all right.
I'll give him my best shot. Oh, but a great heel turn for for Bobby, for that character, because everyone loved him, adored him. It's so it drew a lot of heat, right? So that tag team came to be. Well, that leads us to this match, pay-per-view Halloween Havoc 1995, where it's the Blue Bloods, Steven Regal and Earl Robert Eaton versus Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko.
That's right.
We've got Dusty Rhodes and Tony Schiavone on the mic, which is, oh my God, chef kiss to a commentary duo there. It's amazing the whole time. So right before this match starts, we actually get a throwback to one of Mike's matches, which happened to be the monster truck match.
Oh shit! I forgot
Really?
the entire matchup. They
Remember
are
a chef's kiss. Mwah, that match.
so this entire evening they are talking about the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be in the sumo monster truck match later that night
With Hulk Hogan and not yet at the time Big Show, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was great. So I got a good laugh about that right off the bat. I was like, "Hey, know what they're talking about. It's horrible."
That was my match.
Anyway, so Benoit and Regal started off, and Jesus Christ, Benoit is just right into him, massive chops, massive clotheslines, just stiff shots right off the bat. He does not let up. He just goes right into him. But Regal counters with some crazy technical wrestling. A lot the whole match, a lot of odes to the British style, the old school British matches that we watched. A lot of this crazy chain wrestling where I've got you in an arm lock. No, now you've got me. I go for the pin. You go for the pin, rolling around. But the way Benoit does it, he works his own little flair into that, where it's still aggressive and very entertaining to watch. It was awesome. So we get a few minutes in, and right off the bat, it's just crazy. We see Benoit kind of do this rolling flick, Steven Regal out of the ring, and then I think we're 4 minutes in, he does a flying clothesline off the top rope, to the apron. It's insane. Super high spots, like right off the bat. We see a lot of hold on, you guys got me?
Yeah, we got you, brother.
All right, cool. Everything was lagging out on me. All right, sorry guys. Pick back up here. We just see some awesome teamwork between Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit swapping out. I mean, just flawless counters and interfering just at the right time. But also between Steven Regal and Bobby Eaton. I mean, both these teams, they know each other's styles. They know when to come in. They know what's going on. They're getting in just at the right time. So we see some crazy chain wrestling, some big power moves from Benoit. We're about mid-match, and we get to this powerbomb spot where everything's going well. Everything's going well between the two tag teams. They're flowing, as I just mentioned. Benoit tries to powerbomb Steven Regal, and he's a huge guy. He's like twice the size of Benoit, right? He goes for the powerbomb once, can't get him up. I mean, without even taking a second breath, lifts him back up and has him up. And Dean Malenko is supposed to come in with, the hook or the elbow off the top rope to powerbomb him. But he can't hold him up, so he just goes for the powerbomb and slams the shit. Actually, excuse me, it was Bobby Eaton that was pulled up. Yeah. Slams the shit out of Bobby Eaton. It knocked the breath out of him. And I know, Cookie, you would call that a botch, but the way they pull it off, I don't know.
What'd you say?
Benoit starts to mess up. He's so powerful. He kind of makes up for it and keeps it flowing, just moves on to the next move. So
yeah, it's good improv.
I think he gets a receipt for that later on in the match. We'll get to that. But before that happens, Malenko gets a little time in the ring, and he locks in this arm bar, right? And he just can't shake him. He locks in this arm bar. on Steven Regal and just won't let go. He actually stands up with him. He's holding him in the air, slamming him around. And Malenko just holds his armbar the whole time, just rolling all around the ring until Bobby Eaton comes off the top rope to break it up. It was a very funny spot.
Oh, it's one of my favorite spots of the entire match.
But it's also a great display of power and timing. It was great. So we get Benoit back in the ring with some of the biggest chops I've ever seen. Just echoes through the stadium. But yeah, it threw out great commentary from Dusty. I remember someone gets their leg up on the bottom rope at one point, and Shivani's like, "Oh, he's got a leg on the bottom rope," and Dusty just goes, "Gets a leg up on the bottom rope."
Doesn't he also explain what clubbering was like throughout this match?
Yeah, because at one point we have Bobby Heenan at ringside. They never show a shot of him. But apparently he's there and he's surrounded by sushi.
Women and food.
Sushi and Japanese women, apparently. Whoa. But they never give us a shot of it. So, yeah. Bobby the Brains having life while this is going on. Anyway, so after these massive maneuvers from Benoit, we get some of his signature moves. But before that, we think he's going to catch a tombstone, right? But he reverses it. How the hell you reverse a tombstone? And I don't know. It's hard to explain the intensity of this match, but please look, and at wherever we post the podcast and look at this link. It's a great match. Mike, you should watch it. 5-cookie match for sure.
Oh yeah.
But he reverses this tombstone and then gives the tombstone to Steven Regal.
And it's a nasty tombstone.
Yeah, and just blast him. And he goes straight to the top rope and gives the patented Chris Benoit flying headbutt. And goes in for the – we think he's got him, right? So Bobby interferes, right? And we get a ref distraction, but it kind of bites him in the ass. And then we're going back to the awesome teamwork these two had. While he's distracted, Malenko and Benoit do a little teamwork, give him a drop kick suplex, and pin Steven Regal for the win.
You failed to say my favorite move the entire match.
Oh, was it the double underhook?
Yeah,
Oh
so Steven Regal has
over the double hook
Yeah.
suplex. All right, so let's rewind. I had that in my notes, but I was read ahead of it, and that's the receipt I was talking about from that power bomb. All right, so we have that nasty power bomb. A little karma comes back to Chris Benoit. He catches this double underhook suplex off the top rope, right? And they mentioned in the commentary how he did not break his arm. I do not know. Because he takes it right on his side. He's probably 12 feet in the air.
He got thrown.
Yeah.
Across the ring.
It's insane. And the size differential between these guys is pretty significant as well, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
Huge guys versus two welterweight guys.
Yeah.
But great match. I watched it this afternoon. I watched it 2 times in a row because I was like, oh my God, that is so good.
It was such a good match.
It was great, and so much haiku content. So,
all right, give me that haiku, brother.
Is that gum or grits? Hey, Bobby cleans up nice. Benoit's a psycho.
Yeah.
Well, we all know where that went.
No, I was hoping you'd use the word potato in there.
Potato.
Potato. Oh man.
Do you have another one?
I thought I did.
Please make it better than cookies.
Oh, whatever.
What was cookies? How bad was cookies?
Cookies' second one was his first one.
But with different lines. It was like if he was copying somebody's paper and he's like, oh, it's not the same paper.
It's technically
I had another middle.
Test A.
I had another middle line. It was he's not letting go. Armbar.
Armbar.
He's not letting go. Armbar.
I get it because he's the man of 1,000 holds, and Jericho's is the man of 1,000 in one hold.
In one.
I did watch a little bit of that one, Tolbert, and it was like a tale of two tapes. It was nice. It's a big.
Yeah, but thank you, Aaron, for that match. It was great.
All right, so next week I have no clue on what we're gonna do. Oh, sorry, Mike. Sorry.
How hard is it to pick matches ahead of time?
I'll start doing it. I'll start doing it more. I promise.
We used to
Balls deep in Final Fantasy VII right now.
Guys, I am so close to the end of Final Fantasy VII right now. I can smell the
What the Rock is
game.
cooking?
Yeah, I can do that too. Guys, I'm so excited. What's going to happen? Is Cloud going to be able to save Sector 5 or whatever that got blown up?
Why don't you go and get in the fucking closet with Gemini? All right, because a year ago you used to tell us our matches the week ahead of time.
Right, that was a year ago.
Yeah. And now
Not
we're
anymore. No, not anymore. All right, thank you.
Mike, I'm
theme?
going to go bike pump. And I'm gonna mix it.
Yeah, walk that thing down so I can get on this thing and pop some wheelies.
All right, thank you for
I
listening
wanna
to
see Mike
$2
skidding
Steak.
down the
Hold on, Tolbert. Let me close out before you do chit chat.
Hey, I'm gonna watch Endgame like right after this. So more.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, drink an energy drink. It's 7:30. You're gonna need to be up for a while.
Is it 3 hours?
Thank you for listening to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. Tune in next week. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on
At $2
Facebook.
steak _.
Shut the.
I wish I could take a picture of Aaron's veins.
I
in
am
our-
so angry.
He's so fucking mad.
Sign us off, Aaron.
All right,
Aaron, do your job.
you'll hear from us next week. Thank you. Fuck you. Goodbye.